self-sustainable farm. So far, we have explored the legal environment for sustainable farm, for self-sustainable farm, and we found out that, if you can have the next slide, thank you. We found out that what we need to do is to find a facility in the vicinity of Ljubljana, because we are supposed to have self-sustainable farms for mentally handicapped people up to 25 kilometers from their home. Another difficulty regarding legal environment is that we need to find proper activities for those people that will be able to work on them and to have activities that will enable them to progress, not just to work, also progress cognitively, emotionally, socially. So there are some activities that we have to take a look at, and one of them will be presented by Mihailo.
Hi, as Boštjan said, our task is to develop a whole business plan, and the majority of most of the work has been in research, and we've decided that in line with the community life, a farm is planned to be built, and it is to be the focal economic activity of the whole community. This is the layout which we have taken from a similar project on an Icelandic village, and it features several distinct components, including farms and living habitats. So what is hydroponics? Why have we chosen to do a hydroponic farm instead of the traditional one? The hydroponic system is a system that grows plants organically without the use of soil. There are other benefits to hydroponics, such as the usage of water. It uses a lot less water, and water is reused. So all the nutrition to the plants is directed through water through the water. Plants grow faster, fewer pesticides are used, and the probably very important reason why we chose hydroponics is because the need to cultivate the soil, the land, is practically non-existent because it uses no soil. So this is very important because the people who will be living in the community will have some type of a disability, including physical disability, so their ability to work on the land will be limited. There are 4 major types of systems which are used in commercial hydroponic farms, and these are all different. They differ in terms of investments, in terms of their specialty, what is being cultivated, and one system that we are very near to concluding that we're going to use is called the nutrient film technique. It's the 4th one, and it is a semi-closed system which uses the power of a pump and gravity. That's why the grow tray is tilted so that water flows and circulating with as little pumping power as possible. We've researched the necessary equipment that we have to acquire in order to start such a farm, and we basically need the growing chambers, which are sort of like the seedlings incubators. Mm-hmm. Then we have the main reservoir where water will be contained. We have the pumping systems, the delivery systems, which will connect the pumping and the plants and back. Then the controlling systems, which will control the oxygen levels, the acidity levels of the water, as well as the heat. And then we have the air pumps and obviously the lighting, which is important in any farm. Based on that, we can conclude that hydroponic systems, although not using any soil, the needs of the plants are the same. They need light, they need water. The temperature should be in a specific range. They need air, and the acidity of the water should be controlled. They need nutrients as well. And here I would like to point out that rainwater is the most desirable source to use in hydroponic farms. And Slovenia has a lot of rain. So this is an example of a hydroponic system which uses the ebb and flow connected with the towers. This is a production of lettuce. It's completely indoors, as you see. There is no soil, so the roots of the plants are basically hanging in water. This is a different system, which is one level, and it's basically, when we compare it to this, it's inefficient use of space, because, for example, this has a lot more produce yield per square meter, and some studies have been made with commercial tomato plants, which show that hydroponic multi-level plants give up to 18 times more produce per square meter. This is an additional, what we are venturing in, an additional, like a farm component in doing a vertical kit for growing tomatoes, cucumbers, bell peppers, and the same system with minor modifications is also used to grow strawberries. This is something that is very important. As we said, the community will be with people who have some type of a disability, and physical disability will be one of them. This is an example where rails are placed within the lanes, and there is a seat, and the seat slides between the vegetable rows. So the physical labor is adapted to the people who will be actually working. This is a more advanced system, which also requires far more investment. It basically integrates aquaculture, which is fish producing within the hydroponic system. It uses the waste of the fish as nutrients to water the plants, and then the plants degrade the waste, use it as a nutrient. It is a fertilizer to them, and then clean water is returned to the tank. So the benefit here is the first group of benefits are in terms of the plants. They grow faster because they have natural nutrients, and then you can use the fish tanks to cultivate the fish commercially. This is the fish, the aquaponic system that we are working. It features two 6,000 liter fish tanks with growing beds, which will be accommodated with different plants. And basically, from what we are seeing, you can conclude that there are multiple benefits to using a hydroponic system compared to a traditional, but there are some drawbacks as well, and investments is the first one, the major one. It costs considerably larger initial investments should be made when compared to traditional farming, but then again the yield is far greater. There are other drawbacks as well, and one specific that we selected is that these systems, because they are completely isolated from their external environment, which is they're isolated from their external environment because that enables for a year-long produce, so you don't have seasonality of production, and if there is a breach within the system, the infection can spread very fast, and it can compromise the health of the whole system. So that is an additional thing that we have to consider. Yeah, really don't. Slovenia has last year it had 1,300 millimeters of rain, so we've planned of building a rainwater collector, which will store the water either below the ground or above in collectors, and it will direct the water to the hydroponics. That's it.
Okay.